As being injured and being amputated because of the injuries, you know.
Like I still feel like I have hands.
Yeah.
And the pain is like my hands are being crushed in a vice. But they do a lot to help it, and they take a lot of the edge off of it, and it makes it a lot more tolerable. And
I was injured in late April on patrol in Baghdad. A couple of guys come out and ambushed us. I got nerve damage and stuff like that. I've got a lot of pain. I'm constantly in pain. Take a lot of morphine to help with that and stuff. Doing, just readjusting, getting life back on track. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do what it is that I did before. I was a Republican for quite a few years, and for some reason they conduct business in a very dishonest way. I'm going to be incredibly active in the Democratic Party down where I live once I get out. So I'm going to definitely do my best to ensure that the Democrats win control.
Iraq, Baghdad, I didn't know anything of those things. And we were in the hallway in the upstairs of our house, and he was crying, and he said that he was really scared and he didn't want to have to go to Iraq. So we were able to have a whole conversation about sometimes some fear is healthy because it keeps our senses about us. And that's when he told me that he had not told anybody else, but he knew he was going to Baghdad. We were, as everybody, we were glued to the TV. Just glued, completely glued to the television in hopes of seeing a glimpse of him. Can't you please go over to where the helicopters are? Can't you please let us see him? Then that night, it was about 10-something, I went upstairs to the bedroom, and I was laying in bed, and I was flipping the channels with the remote. All I heard was Black Hawk Down, South Central Iraq.
What I can tell you at this hour is that last night the Army did indeed lose a Black Hawk helicopter. We are being told by officers on the ground that there were 6 occupants inside the Black Hawk.
So the next morning, I got up and I said, you push those thoughts out of your mind. Okay, Jesus, I need you to come in. I need you, Jesus. You got to help me through this. The Army called me, and I remember getting on the phone and him asking me, was I Lila Lipscomb? And I said yes, and he said, Mother, Sergeant Michael Pedersen. And I remember dropping the telephone. And all I can honestly say that I remember is, ma'am, the United States Army, the Secretary of Defense, regretfully informs you. That's all I know. The grief grabbed me so hard that I literally fell on the floor. And I was alone. I didn't have anybody to pick me up. So I literally crawled over to my desk and was hanging on. And I remember screaming, why does it have to be Michael? Why did you have to take my son? Why is it my son that you had to take? He didn't do anything. He wasn't a bad guy. He was a good guy. Why did you have to take my son?
I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a son or a daughter or a husband or a wife, for that matter, and it pains me.
You had his last letter?
Mm-hmm. And it was mailed March 16th, but I didn't get it until probably a week before he was killed. Hello. Hey, Mama. Well, sorry I haven't been able to call. They took the phone 7 days ago. I got the letter and box. That is so cool. Your first grandson came the same day your oldest son did. How is everyone? I'm doing fine. We are just out here in the sand in windstorms, waiting. What in the world is wrong with George? Trying to be like his dad, Bush. He got us out here for nothing whatsoever. I am so furious right now, Mama. I really hope they do not re-elect that fool, honestly. I am in good spirits and I am doing okay. I really miss you guys. Thanks for the Bible and books and candy I really look forward to letters from you guys. Well, I'll tell all the family hello and that I am doing fine. We don't expect anything to happen anytime soon. I cannot wait to get home and get back to my life. Tell Sputnik congrats, and I'll see my first nephew soon. As soon as I get back to the States. Hope you guys are doing okay. And keep sending the mail. It makes getting through the days easier. Well, I am on my way to bed, so I will write you guys soon. I love and miss all of you guys. I wanted to be alive, and I can't make him alive. But your flesh just aches. You want your child, it's out of sync. A parent is not supposed to bury their child.
I feel sad for my family because we lost our son. But I really feel sorry for the other families that is losing their kids as we speak. And for what? I don't. That's the, I guess, the sickening part. For what?
You've heard a lot about Halliburton lately. Criticism is okay. We can take it. Criticism is not failure. Our employees are doing a great job. We're feeding the soldiers. We're rebuilding Iraq. Will things go wrong? Sure they will. It's a war zone. We're serving the troops because of what we know, not who we know.
Well, let me tell you about Halliburton, the company I ran. I'm very proud of what I did at Halliburton. The people of Halliburton are very proud of what they've accomplished, and I frankly don't feel any need to apologize for the way I've spent my time over the last 5 years as the CEO and chairman of a major American corporation.
Yeah, this is also an attempt to divert attention away from the fact they have no energy policy. And as the Secretary of Energy said, we were caught unawares.
In the middle of the war, Microsoft, DHL, and other corporations invited Halliburton to a conference to figure out how much money could be made in Iraq.
Having worked this effort even since before the invasion, the liberation of Iraq started, you, industry, are definitely a vital part of that effort. We appreciate your interest in this. We need you.
Now, lots of you are small businesses and you're struggling. How do we get piece of this big action? All of you, the big guys, are going to get it, and the rest of us have subcontracting capability or none at all. USTDA is for you. Once that oil starts flowing and money coming, it's going to be lots of money. It's the second largest reserve of oil in the world. There's no question about how much money is there.
I've been getting complaints from Iraqi firms and from American firms that the lack of transparency, the corruption. I think the profits that American companies are making, the main companies, are so overwhelming. I mean, like when you have a line item for $1 million and you subcontract it out for $50,000 or $60,000 or $70,000, that's a huge profit. And it's the American taxpayer that's going to pay for that.
And it's going to get better. Start building relationships, because it's going to get much better as the oil flows and their budget increase. And the good news is, whatever it costs, the government will pay you.
War is always good for certain companies, I mean, that are in the war, the business of war.
We're very proud of the work we're doing, again, in supporting the U.S. government and the U.S. military. And the real heroes of the campaign, the real heroes of the Reconstruction are the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces. And we're very proud to be any part of that we can in supporting them.
Halliburton delivers hot meals, supplies, clean clothing, and communications to our soldiers, so they can be a little closer to home.
It's a girl!
Halliburton, proud to serve our troops.
I just read in the paper Halliburton got another contract. Halliburton got another contract, which is not being contested at all. Because nobody knows. Well, it's in the paper, so somebody knows. But that's after it happens. It's after the fact. It's too late.
The United States is now a major player in the Iraqi oil business. American troops guard the oil fields as Texas oil workers assess their potential.
So it's a safe environment to work in. We don't feel any risk. We feel like we're being well protected here, or we wouldn't be here.
It's no secret. I mean, I make anywhere, I don't know, between $2,000 and $3,000 a month. A Halliburton employee out here driving a bus can make all between $8,000 and $10,000 a month. Explain that one to me. For 40 hours a week, driving the same 2.5 mile route. Go figure. Where's the justification in that?
There's no other single area of the world today with the opportunity for business, new business, similar to the opportunity that's available today in Iraq.
The president went in and did what he did, and we're all supporting him and our troops, and we want to make sure that, you know, the efforts and the lost lives, and it wasn't for no reason.
If it wasn't for the oil, nobody would be there. Nobody would worry about it.
Unfortunately, at least for the near term, we think it's going to be a good situation or a dangerous situation. Good for business, bad for the people.
Today on the news, Rumsfeld was saying, and Wolfowitz was saying, oh, the Iraqi people are much, much better off. Isn't it better that we got rid of Saddam and now the Iraqi people can do what they want to do and really be free? Will they ever be free? No, they'll not be free. And where are the weapons of mass destruction? It was we were duped. We were really duped. And these poor people, the young men and women who are being killed there, it's unnecessary. That's the disgrace. That's it. That's no more. Disgrace.
They died in a just cause for defending freedom, and they will not have died in vain.
Lila had called to tell me that she was coming down from Flint to Washington, D.C. to attend a jobs conference. On her break, she said she was going to go and pay a visit to the White House.
Who's killed children? Iraqi children.
My son killed.
Kill my people in Spain. Yesterday.
Yes.
It's false lies. Kill people. Your children too.
Yes, my son.
They have business to do in Iraq now, and they're killing all these young Americans.
Yes.
For what? For oil. Bush are terrorists.
No, he isn't. This is all staged.
He's a Bush of
This is
Iraq.
all staged.
He's the
My
Bush
son.
of Iraq.
Where was he
You
killed?
tell me, my son.
Where was he
It's
killed?
not a
Bush is the
stage.
Bush of
Where was he
Iraq.
killed?
He
Kill
was
my
killed in
people in
Karbala.
Spain by lying.
April 2nd is not a stage. My son is
They
dead.
didn't have to go to war.
There are a lot of
they
other
didn't
people,
have to
too.
attacking our people because of Bush.
Blame Al-Qaeda.
What'd that woman yell at you?
That I'm supposed to blame the Al-Qaeda. The Al-Qaeda didn't make a decision to send my son to Iraq. Ignorance that we deal with everyday people, because they don't know. People think they know, but you don't know. I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I need my son. God's tougher than I thought it was gonna be to be here. But it's freeing also, because I finally have a place to put all my pain and all my anger and to release it.
I guess I was tired of seeing people like Lila Lipscomb suffer, especially when, out of the 535 members of Congress, only one had an enlisted son in Iraq. I asked Corporal Henderson of the United States Marine Corps to join me on Capitol Hill to see how many members of Congress we could convince to enlist their children to to go to Iraq.